Hello. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything to any channel, but I wanted to make this particular video just to clear up a couple things. I want to get two things out of this video, really. I want to, like I said, clear things up and make everybody more aware of why the content has sort of slowed down a little bit, and just why my online presence has not been that active, and why I've been appearing offline and just sort of keeping myself to myself. And yeah, the other thing is maybe after this video, people will. I don't know exactly. Like people will maybe they'll get something out of it. Maybe they'll learn something. Maybe they'll it'll help them with their own life, I guess. 2025 has kicked the shit out of me. It really has. This video is not going to be edited or anything like that. You know these kinds of videos if you've been around for a while, or if you know me personally, you're in the Discord. Yeah, but the people that have come from the KPG channel, from the channel where I upload Skyrim content and stuff like that. First of all, thank you for coming across. You don't have to sub to this channel. This is just sort of where I keep. This is like from an older part of my YouTube life, and this channel is basically for updates on me personally. And yeah, I renamed it and changed the name to KPG IRL just to, I don't know, make it more sense. To make it seem more I don't fucking know. But I'm making this video because, like I said, 2025 has kicked the shit out of me. A lot has happened this year. You're not gonna believe some of the stuff that's happened to me this year, and yeah, I'll start off just listing all the stuff that has gone on, and gradually increase how bad they are, I guess. Or I'll just go in some kind of order. I've had a wisdom tooth out this year. I pulled my back 2 or 3 times. I've been ill this year more than I ever have been. Trust me, they get better. I've lost more sleep, I think, this year than any other year, by far. Which, if anybody out there has ADHD or any, I don't know, like for me, like ADHD's it's already a disability in a way because you're already lacking something that you really need in life, and then and lack of sleep doesn't help that. You know, sleep is very important for the production of dopamine, and you know, ADHD is all dopamine related, and a lack of it and a lack of ability to absorb it, and then you've got that on top of it, so it makes it even harder. Um, my auntie, one of my last auntie actually died. That was a fair few. That was in like spring, summertime. I wasn't particularly close with her. If well, to be honest, like I swore her off completely. She was not a very nice woman. Anyone in this family would agree. You know, like I have to have some certain types of love for her and care for her because she was my blood. She was my auntie. She was my mum's sister. She was all of these things. And as much as I didn't like her, I was still there for my mum because she lost a sister, and I was still there for my cousins because they lost a mother. And I'm not, I'm not an evil person. I'm way too empathetic to not give a shit. So as much as I disliked her, I mourned the idea of not being close to her. You know, not having that kind of relationship with the rest of the family as well, because she did make it difficult. She burned a lot of bridges, unfortunately. So that was another thing. Work this year has been incredibly difficult as well, because where I work has gotten busier, and also the company that I work for is putting way more pressure on its workforce to reduce labour. Don't know why. They seem to be perfectly fine and in profit, but that's another story completely. So that's been more pressure in a already pressure-filled environment, which is hospitality. So that's also been tough to deal with. I had to put my dog down this year. That was right at the beginning of the year, unfortunately. It was good as well because it was just a natural thing, really. I mean, she'd gotten older. She had dealt with cancer. Um, but yeah, she was a black Labrador. She was gorgeous. She'd lived a full life. She was an old girl, bless her, and it was her time. And she fought cancer at some points without us even thinking she had it. It was weird. Anyone that would come round and would hear that she'd had it and then met her, like, "Are you sure?" She was amazing, and I had my last sort of time with her. Um, she was a big dog. She was a very, very big dog, not overweight. She was just a large Labrador, and I'm not afraid to say I had her here for a week. I spooned her every single night because it's my puppy. You know, I'm not like a big fan of having dogs on beds and stuff like that, but I knew time was running out, so I didn't give a crap. And also, black Labrador and I wear light colours, so you can imagine the mess. um, yeah, so that was sad as well. Yeah, the year didn't get off to a great start that way. Um, I had a breakup. I had a breakup this year. I had a couple of breakups this year, really. I've tried dating and stuff like that, and one of the things that one of the things that I've never experienced before with breakups is I had a breakup that I didn't want to happen. So I've ended pretty much every relationship I've been in, and this one this one ended, and I didn't want it to end. I did end it because I'm an idiot, but I didn't want it to end, and that's something I've never experienced before. I've always gone into a breakup pretty confident, and made it a smart decision for each one, and it's been the right thing. But I think this one was different, so that was new. Now on to the really, really hard thing. Some of you already know this. I put a post out a little while ago on the KPG channel. This year I lost my mother as well. She died on the 30th of August this year, and that's something that I've never dealt with before, is losing a parent. Um, I've lost a lot of people in my family. Our family has been thinned pretty heavily over the years. I've lost all three of my aunties, three grandparents, well, technically four grandparents, five grandparents. I've lost plenty of grandparents, and um, I've lost friends. I've lost uncles. I've been around. I'm 35 now. I've experienced that sort of loss before, but now that I've lost a parent, I can tell you that it is completely different to losing anyone else. I don't know what it's like to lose a child, and I don't know what it's like to lose a sibling, God forbid, or a cousin or anything like that. It is different, and I know from reading and just my own intelligence that losing a parent is one of the most significant things that you can go through as a person in life. So um, it was a shock because it was a heart attack that killed her. Unfortunately, there was nothing that really could be done, and believe me, they tried. They did try, and I'm very grateful for the people that came, the paramedics that came, and also the doctors that kept working on her until some of us could get to the hospital and be there for her last moments. Um, yeah, that that was a shock. She was not a very healthy woman. She never really looked after herself that well, and she had some other ailments that were she was always complaining about and stuff. But that one was, I don't know. It was just unexpected. I think everybody in the family, like all my siblings, we all knew at some point we were going to have to look after mum because she's just fucked herself up completely over the years. But it's that choice has sort of been taken away now. To look after her, and yeah, it rocked this family pretty deeply. Um, and I'm glad that I was there for her final moments and stuff. And pardon me, it was still not easy, you know, as well. It was facing something that I'd never faced before, which was seeing death. You know, I'd seen death in animals, I'd seen it on films and stuff like that, and then, you know, I've heard about it and I've carried coffins of my loved ones before. I've spoke at funerals and things like that, and but I'd never seen death. You know, I'd never seen it happen. I'd never seen what happens afterwards, and it was actually one of my fears. I think I don't. When somebody asks me what I'm scared of, I never really have an answer. Like, I'm not scared of spiders or animals or heights or anything like that. Like, honestly, I don't think I'd be scared to die at this point. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. You know, I'm sort of like nonchalant to the whole thing. I don't really have an answer for it. But one of the things that I always sort of dreaded was seeing a loved one die. You know, and like experiencing what it would be like to see a body and things like that. I think that's one of the things that I sort of always dreaded. Wasn't quite scared of it, but was just sort of going, this isn't going to be easy kind of thing. So maybe it wasn't a fear, maybe it was just more of a concern. I don't know, but I was always worried about how I would act, how I would take it, you know. Um, and I have to say, like, you know, like I held my mum as she died. You know, I held my mum's hand, um, and I wouldn't ever make the opposite decision to that. You know, as soon as the doctor came in and said, you know, we're going to stop, and they gave us the option to come in, I didn't hesitate. I knew straight away, I'm going in there to see my mum. I'm going to be with her when she goes. As traumatizing as it would have been, as difficult it would have been as it will be, to forget about it and to not picture it sometimes and have it upset me. It's still my mum. It wasn't death. It wasn't a dead body. It was my mum. You know, I kissed her on the forehead when I left her. I held her hand and kissed her hand. I was there with her, and it doesn't really matter. You know, like, if anybody else is worried about how you would act in that situation, it doesn't matter. In the moment, you just do it because it's them. You know, it's your mum, it's whoever. So now I know that, and that's a positive. It's like I know I'm prepared for something else similar to that in the future. Still doesn't make it any easier. It's just I know now. The thing that makes my losing my mum harder was this year my family's been rocked by something else, and all of my family have cut off my dad, including myself. And it's a decision that we've all made, we all agree upon, and we all believe and have every confidence in that it's the best decision. I chose to cut my dad off the morning of 30th of August when my mum died. So it had been it had been an ongoing thing throughout the family, and we'd all been sort of doing it in our own way as we were comfortable and things like that. And I chose to text him because I didn't want to see his face. I didn't want to hear his voice. I just wanted it to be done, you know. And it had been a few months leading up to this decision, and I'd been working on a message to send him. And it was the day before my time off. I had 2 weeks off coming up, and I thought, I need to do this now because it's been holding me back. It's been affecting my mood. It's been ruining my sleep. I thought, I'm not going into 2 weeks off like this. So on the morning of the 30th of August at 4:57 a.m., I sent the message because I couldn't sleep. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then in the morning, he will know, and I can move on with my life. And then 14 hours later, my mum died. So the 30th of August this year it will forever go down as the worst day of my life. It's the day I was orphaned, essentially, mourning two parents in very different ways. And believe me, the decision to cut off my dad is the right one. Absolutely. I will never see him again. It just is that way. You know, I'm not going to go into why. I'm not going to explain anything about it. it is just the right thing to do for us as a family. Um, yeah, experiencing one of those things individually is traumatizing. It can leave its scars. It can require a lot of work, a lot of time to recover from. And then having both of those things happen within a day, on the same day, as my body's getting ready for rest as well. Like my 2 weeks off were, I wasn't going to go on holiday or anything like that. I was literally just planning a load of different stuff. I was going to go down south. I was going to go see family and friends. I was going to spend some time working on myself and just sleeping in and relaxing because it had been a tough summer. My body was ready for that rest. And it was, I think I'd finished on the Saturday at 5 p.m. and I'd arranged to see my friend that evening. So I was about 2 hours into my time off when I got the phone call from my sister about my mum. So the 2 weeks off then became about mourning. It became about losing sleep. It became about crying and reminiscing and funeral arrangements and eulogy writing and seeing family and trying to keep myself level, you know. Yeah. And then just the impact of it all. And the fact that if God had a plan, his plan was to take both my parents away from me on the same day, you know? But yeah, the impact that those two things have, they're significant. They are damaging. And I'm not afraid to say I'm struggling with it. I'm not in any way in danger or anything like that. I'm not going to kill myself or anything like that. It's just part of the process, you know. Mourning your parent is difficult enough. Mourning both of them in different ways, and also having the timing just against you and the rest of the stuff that I've suffered this year. It's a lot to deal with. So it's fair to say that most of my life has taken a back seat. I'm coming home and I'm prioritizing just chilling the fuck out and being away from people and trying not to take on anything, you know, and allowing myself that time. So that's why the content has slowed down. I'm still working on content behind the scenes. I am working on 2 videos right now. I don't know when they'll be released. I don't know when they'll be finished. And honestly, I don't really care. It's just a case of I know I'm going to get back to it eventually. But right now, the time that I'm spending away from work is in therapy to help, you know, just push this along. And if I need a little bit of help getting through this, then I've got it. And just doing whatever I want to do, you know? Yeah. So going back to the other thing that I want to get out of this video, I hope everybody can anyone that watches this, I hope that you understand just how impactful this year has been on me. And then I hope you can see that it doesn't matter what I've gone through this year. I'm still standing. Like, I'm not giving up. I'm not letting this year completely destroy me. It's fucking destroyed me. It's destroyed my soul. It's hurt me. It's made me disconnect from pretty much my entire life. But those are not permanent states of mind. You know, they're not permanent things. I know this is going to pass. I know that it's only a matter of time before I rise again. And I hope people can use what's happened to me this year as an example of strength. Like, we are strong people. There's been plenty of times throughout my life where I've thought I was never going to get to where I am now. You know, for people that don't know me, I've suffered suicide attempts, I've suffered depression, I've suffered anxiety disorder. I've had ADHD diagnosed, medicated, and found the answer to something that I've been searching for years, and then had that medication ripped away from me. due to shortages around the world, and that really fucked me up. I've had some pretty awful things happen to me in my life, and I've got absolutely no excuse now. Like, I could write an autobiography about every single thing that's happened to me and fill fucking thousands of pages, but I'm still standing. So like, it doesn't matter what happens to me anymore. It's like I've got no excuse. You know, there is no part of me now that is going to self-destruct. It's just I do it, and anyone else can do this. I'm just a normal guy. Anyone else can do the same as what I'm doing, as what I'm doing right now. It's fucking shit. It's hard, and I think how I'm getting through it is the fact that I'm removing the pressure. And I think the world is full of pressure in these situations, I believe. I reckon workplaces can be very pressureful of people to get back to work and get on with stuff. Friends, family who don't want to have their bad vibes and positive vibes like disrupted. Um, just all that kind of stuff. All that is working towards being. All that's working against you, I believe. I believe that that's pressure from yourself to feel that way as well. I just believe that that's the first thing that you need to do when you've had something like this happen is take the pressure off. Um, I did it in lockdown when I became depressed. I knew I couldn't change anything because lockdown was lockdown. I knew that I couldn't change anything now, so I might as well focus on the stuff that I can control and just wait for my circumstances to change, wait for myself to feel better. And as soon as I made that decision, I remember the relief I felt. It was like, okay, I don't need to worry about anything anymore. And right now, I'm doing the same thing. I know for a fact I've been kicked the shit out of this year. I know for a fact that I'm going to be mourning my parents, for years to come. And I know it's going to take a long time for me to recover just from this year alone. But it's going to come. And I know that. I believe that. And that's where the pressure is removed. And I'm not going to feel bad for feeling like this. I've got every fucking right to be grumpy, to be quiet, to have my bad days, to not want to see people, to take a step back from content and all that kind of stuff. I have no obligation whatsoever to other people. What's important right now is keeping me going. That's it. Looking after the basics, making sure I'm fed and watered, making sure I'm sleeping at least a little bit, making sure I'm keeping my job going. Some people don't have that option when it comes to this sort of stuff, if they have children or anything like that, and if that's you as well, then my recommendation for you is to include them in it. I'm not saying make them sad. I'm just saying get them involved. Help them understand. Look after them. But I believe the more information people have, the better we can understand each other. I've told my bosses about what's happened this year. I've told my friends about what's happened this year. I've told work colleagues. I've told family, whatever. Everybody knows what I'm going through. Therefore, everyone I know and everyone in my life knows how to handle it, knows how to handle me, knows what to expect from me, knows that if I'm in a bad mood or I'm just quiet, they know why. And they're not going to judge me, they're not going to put pressure on. And if they do, they get told to fuck off. I'm not saying tell your children to fuck off, by the way. I used to go out with a woman who had two small girls, and she always used to sort of pressure herself to be good all the time, be in a good mood, and not show weakness in front of her daughters. And fair enough, I understand the need to do that. She didn't want to scare them. You look to your parents for strength and emotional security and stuff like that, and I get that. But I believe in transparency, and I just encouraged her. Like, you don't have to go into detail about how you feel, but if the girls are being particularly difficult one day and you don't have the strength to deal with it, then just sit them down and just say, I need you girls to help look after mummy today. We're all going to look after each other. So you're going to help mummy do this. You're going to help mummy do that. Mummy's sad. You know, mummy wants to cry sometimes. So mummy wants cuddles. Things like that, you know. And it did help, I believe. It helped them understand. It might not solve the problem, but it eases the pressure. $25 of me going on about my life. Jesus. I think that's all I've got to say, really. I am okay. I don't want anybody that watches this video to think otherwise. Of course, I'm not okay, but I am. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to be fine. I'm just getting on with it. I'm just letting time go. Letting time go by. I'm on a week off now. Thankfully, no one's died. And yeah, you can think, oh well, he's jinxed it now. It doesn't fucking matter. All right, like honestly, if he's got a plan, he's gonna execute it. You know what I mean? I don't think anything else. Like I keep saying it. Like I don't think anything else is gonna top what's happened to me this year. Bring it on, meteor. Hit me. Let me get hit by a train. I don't fucking know. I'll probably survive and end up in bloody wheelchair or whatever. I don't know. It's like God just went. It's the start of a video game. That's what this is. It's the start of a video game. He's designed his character. Now he's got to choose the difficulty. So the video game's name is 2025. I'm the character that he's designing. You know, he's put my hat on, he's moved me around like that, and then he's put the shirt on. And then he's gone to character attributes, he's gone past that, and then he's gone on to game difficulty, and he's put it on legendary difficulty, hardcore mode, no lives. That's how it feels this year. You gotta laugh at some point. But yeah, the worst thing this year is losing my mother. The worst and best thing about losing my mum this year was the fact that I became closer to her. So anybody that knows me personally knows how much trouble I've had with both of my parents in the past, and I put them in a category for years, decades actually, of not to expect anything from them. And the last couple of years, my mother started. She didn't put a foot wrong. She actually, I believe, learned the unconditional love thing, which she didn't come to naturally. And you can see it in this very video. So all these models here. This is a hobby that both of us shared. I bought a model one day, and then she saw it, and then she bought one and did a model, and then we sort of had this little hobby together. And some of these are actually hers as well that I've gotten from my stepdad. And then that one there, that little car, that's one that she bought me just because she wanted to. It's a hobby that we both shared, and there was a time when I was a teenager, or even in my 20s, where I'd never hear from my mum. And then going from that to this year and last year, having video calls with my mum, building these models, having a laugh, having a joke, and spending time with her that way, and wanting to. Massive difference. So she became the mother that the little boy inside me always wanted. But then it was, unfortunately, not long enough, and she was taken. But as negative as that is, it's still a positive, because we had those 2 years. And so did some of my other family as well. They started to, my siblings especially, they started to see that and started to benefit from just her improvements as an individual. Yeah. $30. Right, I'm going to end this video. Thank you very much if you've made it this far. Yeah, just Take care of yourselves and have a good Christmas. Bye bye.